Oh! Daenerys, the Starks, Jon Snow, and of course, dragons. Today, we are reacting to the insane medical scenes and over-the-top injuries from Game of Thrones. Fair warning, there's no telling what we'll see in this crazy quest for power. All right, let's dive right in. Oh my gosh! Does the blood actually squirt out like that? Probably not. And then there was a potential that there was organs that came right out after. Does that actually happen? Probably not either. Because what ends up happening right underneath your skin, you have your abdominal muscles, right? You got your six-pack sitting right there. Then underneath that, you actually have your omentum, a fat covering over top of your organs. It's like a cushion to protect them. So then underneath that is where your small intestines will actually be, which is what is depicted in that incident right there. Don't take a man's butt, okay? Oh! Ouch. You're grabbing the blade, you're literally cutting your hand, you potentially are cutting a lot of the muscles and the tendons of your fingers, which may not work in the future, but is it going to save your life in this instance? Obviously it did. Oh, taken down by the dog, or the wolf dog. Wow. So, depicted that the dog went for the neck, which is actually what you would, commonly think would be how somebody would actually succumb to injuries relating to a dog bite or being mauled by an animal. And it's because you have your carotid artery and your jugular vein. And so if those get ripped open, obviously you're going to bleed out. So these huge spears that are just thrown like a Olympic javelin, landing right in there, is it actually killing them immediately? It depends. If it hits the heart, boom, yeah, it probably gets you pretty darn fast. If it just impales into the lung, then you're actually just gonna have a hemothorax and pneumothorax. Aside from this big huge stick coming out of your chest, you have the other lung to breathe. In this instance, I always say don't pull it out. Nice. You're slicing the superficial component of the abdomen. Are you actually causing somebody to die right away? No. Maybe you're gonna get deep enough to open up the intestines and cause an infection, but it's gonna take time to bleed. It's gonna take time to have an infection set in. So there's a chance that you may actually survive those type of injuries versus being impaled and having puncture wounds that are going deeper. That's a different story. Oh, don't mess with Jaime Lannister. Small blade right through the eye, into the orbital socket, and into the brain. So it's going through the one side of the brain tissue. So, the other side's still functioning in that moment. So obviously that's why, that individual is still breathing. Even if the brain wasn't punctured, if the eye is injured that badly, there's no regaining that back. Wow. You have branches off that, have to get blood supply to this whole side. You're digging into the aorta possibly, messing with the carotid artery, the jugular vein, and actually down a little bit lower it becomes the superior vena cava, which is the major vein coming back, where all the veins from the upper part come back to.
I am the dragon! I am the dragon! I won my crown!
Oh.
A crown for a king.
Oh my gosh! I remember this. Oh. Does it actually kill you? Unless it's burning through the skull itself and then melting the brain, how would it actually kill you, right? The amount of pain is not going to kill you. Could you pass out due to pain? Yeah, when somebody passes out, we use a word called syncope. Whoa. Whoa. If you see, there's actually not a lot of blood coming out because the major blood vessels actually haven't been hit. So what's over there? Some superficial blood vessels and then your airway. Oh. What did I just see? Oh my gosh. You see that there was, it looks like the top of like maybe the tongue that was attached to it. If you get low enough and you lacerate all the way through the Achilles tendon, then there's no connection of the heel itself to those muscles that will push off. So it actually would cause more injury. Even though you're going to be less bloody and less exciting, it's actually going to probably cause more problems for that individual. Ooh. Oh my gosh. So I couldn't even imagine the pain. Once you actually get past that and it's just the regular structure of the eye, you don't have as many pain sensors back there, but it's gonna hurt a lot.
Then I smash their head in like this!
Wow. I've seen injuries that occur to faces where the bones are totally destroyed and broken. You just don't have things where you would normally see something just explode like that.
Help you remember?
Oh, I can't see what just happened. Oh. Could it be that easy? The blade has to be super, 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 super sharp. You need to have it go super fast with a heavy blade. Oh, that is not a cool injury. Your flesh is burning. You know, you can't breathe because it's taking all the oxygen away from you. You're starting to have swelling of your airway quickly. You're burning your lungs. You know, basically you're dying of asphyxiation because you can't breathe, and then you're having all this trauma and injury and pain that's occurring too.
My father.
What's happening? What's happening? Blood out of the nose. Oh, and respiratory issues. What the heck? So you're having blood coming out the nose and having difficulty breathing. So I wonder if there was then bleeding into the airway itself, having trouble breathing. What type of poisonings back then can cause bleeding? Typically anything that would mess with the clotting cascade. There are some, you know, plants out there that could do that. Oh! Impaled object into the abdomen probably causes a little bit more trauma and damage than if you're slicing superficially on the abdominal wall, because you have a higher chance of hitting major organs and major blood vessels that, if disrupted, will actually have you succumb to the injuries a lot faster. If you guys enjoyed this, let me know if you want me to do more Game of Thrones reaction videos. And don't forget, checking the link below, we got limited run merch for the Dr. ER channel, so check that out. And as always, make sure you check out this playlist right here, binge watch everything. And please make sure you subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, and hit that like button for me. Thank you so much for watching, and stay healthy, my friends.